How has peer observation or learning from teachers from other schools changed your teachers' perspective about their own teaching style?
In the founding year, we had to connect with another school, another British curriculum school established, and their FS leader came to us to work with my FS leader, who was new to Dubai. I needed some guidance before we went for our BSO inspection. So I just said, can I have somebody from your team come and join us, come and look at what our teaching practices are and give us the advice from your side. We've worked in peer threes. So 3 teachers will work together from different classrooms, but also different subjects as well. And then that same person will then deliver a lesson and the other 2 teachers will come and observe them. So it's all about sharing that best practice idea across the school.
As a principal, how do you recognize the silent burnout in your teachers before they reach a breaking point?
Yeah, I think it's all about how teachers change their mindset. And you can see that in the expression sometimes very openly when teachers are feeling stressed out. I think it's more about the kind of pattern of behaviour as well. So the teacher who used to stay for wanting to put in more hours after school and suddenly they're not, that they're communicating as well. And you kind of see that change in after school PDs, kind of silent treatment that teachers can give because they've totally switched off. I actually offer for teachers to come and see us before they get to that point. We have our half-term check-ins that we do. So I would meet every single staff member every half-term, even if it's just for 10 minutes. I want to be able to reach out to everybody.
Teachers are actually put in the center in your school. So if I ask you to say one word about the importance of teachers.
I mean, they've got such a busy job. At this time now, the expectation is so very high. And rightly so. And you've got to make sure that teachers know every child in the class and know all the demands and know all their different levels. Yeah. And that's one message that I give to parents who are joining our school, is that your teacher will know your child very well.
What is that one shift in the mindset that is required for shifting the culture of a school from functional to inspirational, especially in the eyes of regulators?
Yeah, I think that shift has to be from taking that ownership themselves. So it is about changing that mindset of you're following your passion. Can you bring that to the classroom? Can you really focus on each and every child that is there, but you have to ask those questions of yourself, like, oh, what did I do well there? And one way we're doing that is actually asking teachers to videotape their lesson, assessing themselves, right? Because sometimes you think you've done a great lesson, but when you play it back and you see, oh, I actually spent a lot of time asking too many questions at the start. I think it draws a lot to your attention when you see your own teaching on video.
Absolutely. How do you train your subject specialists to be inclusion specialists?
Yeah. I think it has to be an ongoing training. They have to be aware of they're teaching a number of classes once a week with different needs in there, and they need to be very much aware of how to work in collaboration with the homeroom teacher, but also with our inclusion leader as well, who delivers training. Right. So that has to be a real collaborative approach. There has to be a real partnership there.
If you could change one thing about the global education system tomorrow with a snap of your finger, what would it be?
The actual content of how we are assessing children has not changed.
Right.
And that has to change to make sure that children get that confidence back. Those children who cannot do that exam driven at the end of the year, there has to be a different way of showing what they have learned.
What is the one piece of advice you will give as a parent to the other parent who has similar kind of children who are brilliant in other different ways, maybe not so much in academic, but they are creative in their respective fields?
We've got to really push the talents that our children have and take that forward.
Hello, welcome to Viera Dialogues. Today on this podcast, we have with us Ms. Jasmit Kang, Principal, Glendale International School, Dubai. Ms. Jasmit, it's such a pleasure to have you with us on this podcast show.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Pooja.
We know that you are a principal, you lead a great school. But when it comes to leadership style, we want to know more about you. If you can tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah. So I've been in Dubai for 12 years now. I came when my child was 2 months old. Our older one was 5 years old. I've had a lovely experience being a founding principal here, but also in 2 other schools before. I joined here as deputy head of primary and then a vice principal before I got this role as founding principal, which I don't think many principals get the opportunity, and it has been a beautiful journey for the last 3 years.
E33 encourages schools to share best practices. So I want to understand from you, how has peer observation or learning from teachers from other schools changed your teachers' perspective about their own teaching style?
I think that is really vitally important. We can do as much training as we can, but when teachers see it firsthand from a different perspective and they get to actually show them what's expected, I think that makes such a big difference to the learning quality that we want to see. So one way we did that was in the founding year, we had a connect with another school, another British curriculum school established, and their FS leader came to us to work with my FS leader who was new to Dubai. I needed some guidance before we went for our BSO inspection. So I just said, can I have somebody from your team come and join us, come and look at what our teaching practices are and give us the advice from your side. And that was so beneficial to us. That made such a great difference before we went into that BSO inspection. So that's one way of kind of collaboration that we have. We also have 3 other schools as part of GSG. Just recently, we've had a conversation about school development reviews and having our team visiting the Abu Dhabi school and likewise the Abu Dhabi team coming to see us. Even though it's different curriculums there, I think there's value in still looking at what's happening in the classroom and are there any ideas that we can bring back here to share with our teachers. So other things that we're doing well is the kind of a peer coaching within our own school. And previously what we've done is we've worked in peer threes. So 3 teachers will work together from different classrooms, but also different subjects as well. Cross collaboration of working together on those strengths that they are able to share with somebody else, and then that same person will then deliver a lesson and the other 2 teachers will come and observe them. So it's all about sharing that best practice idea across the school.
As you mentioned, teachers from Dubai and Abu Dhabi, they both met, interacted. I'm sure it's not only limited to learning, but also we use those learnings into our teaching and practical lives that's happening in the school.
Absolutely. I've learned a lot from CBSE curriculum schools because they do fantastic things in terms of design technology and that innovative practice that we wanted to start as a new school. So I learned so much when I first opened the school of what was happening there. And those ideas were then brought to me. I've been lucky in the fact that I had that kind of collaboration from the start of the school opening. Great practices that I wanted to bring here, even though it's a totally different curriculum school.
As a principal, how do you recognize the silent burnout in your teachers before they reach a breaking point?
Yeah, I think it's all about how teachers change their mindset. And you can see that in the expression sometimes very openly when teachers are feeling stressed out. But I think it's more about the kind of pattern of behavior as well. So the teacher who used to stay for wanting to put in more hours after school and suddenly they're not, that they're communicating as well. And you kind of see that change in after school PDs, kind of silent treatment that teachers can give because they've totally switched off. I think that's important to recognise. I actually offer for teachers to come and see us before they get to that point. We have our half-term check-ins that we do. So I would meet every single staff member every half-term, even if it's just for 10 minutes. I want to be able to reach out to everybody. And also our line leaders who are, our kind of, phase leaders who are in charge of primary and secondary, they're meeting their teams all the time. But for me to get to meet everybody, I think is important. That happens on a half-termly basis where it is not talking about work, it's talking about, how are you feeling in terms of meeting those deadlines, but also how are you feeling within yourself? Are you spending time away from work and having that time out to explore your own hobbies, explore your own kind of talents as well? Because I think that's so important. And that has been something that I've done from the start of opening the school when it was induction. So we had a link with a kind of well-being curriculum where the teachers were being trained on recognizing in themselves, what do I do if I'm feeling this way, and what are the tools that I can use to make sure that I feel happy moving forward into a busy environment. As we know that teachers are so busy, that's important to recognize. So it's that kind of 8-week training that teachers then got actually a qualification at the end of it linked to their own well-being. So I think that was important as a principal to show that I was focusing on that for those new teachers.
How do you actually ensure that professional development is just not one-off events, but you can see the change happening in the classroom, the way teachers are even talking to students in their own respective classes?
I think it comes back to ensuring that everybody's using the same language, right? Everyone's using those same core values across the school, and we've done fantastic work linked to our program Leader in Me, which is all about habits. We're the first school in Dubai to be using that program. That's based on Covey's habits of 7 highly effective people. And, that is something that, I'd read about before I got this job, the Leader in Me program, and wanted to bring it here. And I thought if I have the opportunity, I would love to be able to take that program forward. And when I joined the school, this was already in place in our sister school in Hyderabad in India. I didn't know about this at the time. And they're a fully fledged lighthouse school based on the fact that they've done this for so many years. And it is about that, connection of how we bring in this across the whole school. Are we all using the same language of those habits? And it is about child-centered activity that is based on whatever we're doing in thematic learning, whatever we're doing as events even. How does it link back to those habits?
Right.
And every classroom has those habits on display, but also taking it a step further now, we're linking it to learning skills as well. So that's going to be, again, more emphasis on what these habits can bring to the child, and also allowing parents to be part of that as well. So we're all talking that same language. In terms of well-being, I'm making sure that we are focused on having an element of sport, getting it together in different ways before we actually focus on teaching and learning habits as well. So whenever we have an induction period of 2-3 days, we always have an element of let's start the day with focusing on three questions about your well-being, or it'll be a badminton session, which a lot of teachers I thought would not take on, but they wanted to. I think we could continue with that. So we don't have it so focused on, I know we're busy as a school, but I think it's important to honour that time out as well, and saying that we're going to offer this as in addition to training that we're giving day to day on teaching and learning as well.
Teachers are actually put in the center in your school. So if I ask you to say one word about the importance of teachers, what do you feel?
I mean, they've got such a busy job. I mean, teachers are, there's more and more expectations, and I'm very aware of that. I don't ever forget my time in the classroom as a Year 6 teacher. I was, a FS teacher as well. I've had the scope of experience, and it's at this time now the expectation is so very high, and rightly so. You've got to make sure that teachers know every child in the class, and know all the demands and know all their different levels. And that's one message that I give to parents who are joining our school, is that your teacher will know your child very well. And it is about knowing every student in your class, but also ensuring that you're taking their learning, whatever starting point they have, and taking it forward. And it's not an easy job. It's a difficult job. And having that kind of personalized provision, but having the tools to do it. And that's what we're going to be there for, is giving that opportunity for ideas, for development, for sharing that best practice, to make sure that we can, promising to parents from the start of a personalized learning journey for every student.
What is that one shift in the mindset that is required for shifting the culture of a school from functional to inspirational, especially in the eyes of regulators?
Yeah, I think that shift has to be from taking that ownership themselves, and we can support teachers and almost give them a script to follow, and it sometimes can fall a little bit flat. And I've realized there's some teachers that they want to be guided very closely on what we need to do, and we can give as much script and follow schemes and this sort of thing, but it's not going to be giving us the best input on learning for the children. And I talked to my SLT about this just recently, of we're trying to help with giving support with various aspects of the job, like data and sharing with, this is what you can do for challenge activities, but it has to come from the teacher themselves. And once that shift happens, where teachers are reflecting more on their practice and taking that forward, I think that's where we're moving from, what do I need to do, to what's possible. What do I need to do, reflecting on my own teaching practice? And that's something, that's a journey. It can't happen straight away, and teachers are joining us new as well, from different backgrounds and coming from an international background, and they have different experiences even though it might be British curriculum. So it is about changing that mindset of you're following your passion. Can you bring that to the classroom? Can you really focus on each and every child that is there, but you have to ask those questions of yourself, like, oh, what did I do well there? And one way we're doing that is actually asking teachers to videotape their lesson, assessing themselves, right? Because sometimes you think you've done a great lesson, but when you play it back and you see, oh, I actually spent a lot of time asking too many questions at the start, and I didn't realize that I'd used the same way of praise to children with the same, very good, and not really expanding on that. And I think it draws a lot to your attention when you see your own teaching on video.
Absolutely.
So, and that's what we're going to take that forward in the next step, where we're going to have senior leaders showing, elements of teaching and having kind of a bank of resources. So I think that's what we have to do. One teacher even yesterday said to me, God, I just want to see it in practice, rather than give me notes on, okay, try this and in kind of email form or lesson observation feedback form. It's actually just show me practically how to do it.
Correct.
And I think that's what teachers are crying out for. And that's going to make it, maybe SLT a little bit uncomfortable delivering a lesson to, I said, even do it in a staff meeting in front of the staff and pretend we are children.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to really show exactly what we want in the classroom.
We say that inclusion is everybody's responsibility.
Yeah.
But when we come to inclusion, I want to understand, how do you train your subject specialist to be inclusion specialist?
Yeah. I think it has to be an ongoing training. We have music teacher, we have art teacher, we have a DT teacher, and they will only meet those children once a week, because we're trying to give the children that kind of plethora of subject choices. But based on the timetable, there's not much we can do in terms of how many lessons we can give to that.
Yeah.
So they have to be aware of they're teaching a number of classes once a week with different needs in there, and they need to be very much aware of how to work in collaboration with the homeroom teacher, but also with our inclusion leader as well, who delivers training. They might thrive very well in music, but they're not so much in PE. But looking at their IEPs is very important, and making sure that the training that we're giving from our inclusion lead is saying, what experience are you having with the child in the classroom, and what did you do to address that? And are you working alongside, if there is, a learning support assistant? Because some of our children do have a one-to-one support.
Right.
So that has to be a real collaborative approach. There has to be a real partnership there, and having the confidence to, address concerns and say, well, maybe I could have done this in a better way. What do you suggest? So we've got the expertise of our inclusion lead, but we've also got that teacher who works with that child in every lesson. And I think that's worked well. Week to week and lesson to lesson, that will look different, but it has to be in collaboration with those experts who are with you and with that child every day.
If you could change one thing about the global education system tomorrow with a snap of your finger, what would it be?
Yeah, I was just thinking about this with my own child, who's 12 years old in secondary, and he's not an exam-driven child. He cannot, and he knows that is a way of being told that he's clever or not. And I've had to work really hard with him to make him understand that that's not the only way of showing that you are clever and you're showing that you are bright in a particular subject, because he's very good with creating things. He's very good at DT. At the end of that session of so many, 6 weeks work, 8 weeks work, it's still exam driven. And I wish there was a way that we can show this in a different way, come to GCSEs or A levels, where BTEC is looked at secondary level, secondary kind of tier of qualification, and it shouldn't be. I think that mindset has to change first, because children are not going to all benefit from an exam at the end of the year and being told that grade is, not the top level, and so that you're going to think that you're not so clever. So BTEC option, I think we need to rename it or think of a different qualification that would be showcasing those children who are able to, show their talents in a different way. So I'm just having my own son in mind when I'm thinking about that. And that is something that is a very old system, an archaic system. And I don't know, it's a big job to fulfill. And even in space of leaders, we talked about this, that back in my time as doing GCSEs, which was 30 plus years ago, the name of the qualification has changed. The name of the award that you get now is A star as compared to, A, or it was numbers before, but the actual content of how we are assessing children has not changed.
Right.
And that has to change to make sure that children get that confidence back. Those children who cannot do that exam driven at the end of the year. There has to be a different way of showing what they have learned. And it's not an easy job, but I think one way of doing that could be through our coursework elements. Is there more, percentage of coursework that we can show that the children have worked towards? Some subjects are showing that, but there's a lot of work to do to make sure that children are all showing that they can make progress and that they can show their learning in a different way.
What is the one piece of advice you will give as a parent to the other parent who has similar kind of children who are brilliant in other different ways, maybe not so much in academic, but they are creative in their respective fields?
I think that's so important for us to honour and make sure that we push that talent or strength that child has. So be it sport, be it art, be it for my son, it's athletics. I'm pushing him to do that because I know he just came first in the sports day that he's just had. And I'm now saying, right, you've got such a talent in this. Why would you not want to take it forward? It's making sure that we are, motivating our children to say, this is the talent that you have, and I want you to go forward and take this to the next level. And every child has got a talent of some sort. But again, it doesn't address the exam-driven. That's something I'm hoping in the years to come that will change. But I think we've got to really push the talents that our children have and take that forward.
So, Ms. Jasmit, it was such a pleasure meeting you and chatting with you. I hope and I pray you keep inspiring many more educators out there who aspire to become the next Ms. Jasmit. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you on this podcast.
Thank you. Thanks.